Okay, this is a test of Simi Valley Pickleball Podcast. This is our introduction. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Flo Trapani.
Hi, I'm Todd Johnson.
I'm a 4-0.
I do. Okay, so, and then that's kind of like this subject, talking on the court. You know,
Sometimes, listen, and I always want to preface this with, I know that I must do things out there in the pickleball court that drive people crazy. So I guess we all have our thing. But I can't stand when someone constantly whines on the court, constantly makes excuses for things on the court. It just drives me nuts. One statement, maybe, you didn't feel well or you're hurting or something, but constantly that's one of those things that drives me nuts. Again, I know I do things that drive people nuts. So that's just my little thing.
Even if you say, nice try, after the 50th time, it's like, okay, I've heard it. It's not really meaning anything anymore. It's positive, but, and then a lot of people will criticize their own play after every point. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I didn't do that. And with some people like George, pretty much I agree with everything he says about himself. I should have bent down more or whatever. And I go, yeah, I think that's right. But there's some people, it's like, what? I'm so crazy about pickleball, and I have a degree in physics, and I like to see how things work. And I don't agree with some of these self-assessments. I don't say anything, but it's just when they say it after every point, maybe I should say something. I don't know.
I love George. Love you, George. Had a problem with George once at a round robin tournament, playing opposite him. He had a blind date, and he and his partner, I think the game was kind of a little bit close in the beginning, and so he started taking over for his partner, which I guess, yes, in tournaments, that's what you do. But I could tell that his partner was rolling her eyes and looking at me, and so actually on the very last point of the game, I didn't even try. He stepped right in front of her on the court, took her shot. I just put my paddle down, and George, being the good guy that he is, he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? Thinking I got hurt. And I'm like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with, that's the last shot I'm letting you take away from your partner. I'm done. Was that a good thing to do? Probably not. I was just really frustrated. And George and I made our peace after that. But I became friendly with his female partner because she was kind of glad that I said something. But I'm not like Todd, and most of you guys out there, most of you pickleball players, I believe, out there, study the game, watch the pros, drill.
You think most of them do?
So I think, that's my opinion, Todd. I think that.
Can I think differently?
Of course you can.
Thank you.
Yes, but you're telling me no on my opinion.
I'm not telling you no. I'm just disagreeing.
My opinion is, I think most people, actually most of the players I know will talk about, the pros and drilling, and I don't drill, and, maybe that is a problem with my back because I don't do that. But I don't even know where I was going with that because Todd interrupted me. But about George, something with George, and, and people taking tournaments serious and all that kind of stuff. I've kind of learned that. So, okay. I think we're done with this segment. Oh, no.
Are we done?
I don't know. I don't know how long people would want to watch this.
No, I'm going to edit.
We're not professional. We're not.
Going to edit this stuff out. We can make it as short as we want. We can't make it too long without content. So,
okay.
Like I played, like I was telling Flo, I played this guy yesterday, and I walked on the court. He's probably in his 50s. I walked up to him, introduced myself, and he goes, "Oh yeah, hi Todd, how you doing?" Like he knew me, and I'm playing with Dave Murata, and a minute later I said, "Dave, who is that?" He goes, "I don't know. I was going to ask you." And it turns out I knew him, and he had a hat on, because when I really got to know him, we were sitting around a dinner table and he had no hat. So that's my excuse. But I felt weird, and luckily it worked out.
And I'll never admit, should never say never, but I'd be surprised if I ever admitted when I don't know someone and they say hi to me, I kind of always act like I know them, because I think it's rude that why would they know me and I don't know them? That's really uncomfortable for me. So if that ever happens with any of us out there and I have this kind of blank look, I apologize. I'm good with faces, but I'm not really that good with names.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with names, but being an instructor, there's a lot of names that I've forgotten over the years, but I'm pretty good about asking, oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. And I don't think anybody's been offended yet. Maybe. All right. That's good. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Nope.
I could talk about my ladies group.
Sure. He's got a great ladies group.
When I teach, I run a ladies group, usually round robin, usually 4 courts with 16 women. However, this last month, the Parks Department decided to change their policy so to keep it open for the public. So now I only rent 2 courts, but this happens to be a Thursday morning when there's generally 4 empty courts. So I'm a little frustrated because I can't satisfy these women who want to play, yet they're keeping it open for people that want to play, and there's nobody there. So the Parks Department I think they're doing their best. I've heard otherwise from some people, but I got to give them the benefit of the doubt and just hope that my contact with them can be heard sometimes.
And on the subject of renting courts out, that's another thing that drives me crazy. And because I'm the pickleball police, most of the players will come to me when someone is on our courts, and you can only rent courts at Duck Park. You can't even rent courts at Lemon to teach.
Yeah, the only courts in Simi
is Duck. But we have people like from out of county, or have had. I have to be honest, I haven't really seen them recently, or out of city that have come and used our courts to teach people. And, I think it's great that people are learning pickleball, but, you need to pay to rent a court, just like Todd pays and Gary Gossett pays and Eddie pays and Michelle pays and the people that actually, and Michelle, by the way, Michelle, love you. Michelle, you're doing such wonderful things.
You are.
With
PU.
When Pickleball United first started, I was like, oh, this is like PU. But now I don't think of it that way. But yeah, Michelle, you're doing great things. You run great round robins. Hats off to Kathy Kaufman, who originally was involved with that group and got it going, because she did a lot of work too.
But now I see that Michelle is running a program out of Port Hueneme.
Wow. Because
she probably can't get the courts she needs here.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. But I know people complain, but I think they were renting courts, especially for big classes, at prime time. And people complained. The parks didn't understand it was only at prime time that it was a problem. And they made a blanket statement. No more rental.
Well, we don't know that. Do you know that parks didn't understand that?
I assume that.
Right. And we don't ever assume anything, right? Because we know what happens when you assume. Do you know what happens?
No, explain.
You make an ass out of you and me. I learned that in the police academy when I assumed something during a inspection.
I knew that. So. I just wanted to see if you would actually
No, because I don't like saying, we don't all know how.
You said it has.
We don't know how the park and rec really, nobody knows anyone's. It frustrates me when people look at different businesses and automatically say negative things, because we don't really know what happens. If we're privy to what really goes on behind closed doors, then I think we, kind of have a right to say things.
Well, but, I do have a relationship with the Parks Department.
Right, but you don't know what you just said, for sure.
For sure.
Right, so.
But I could take odds.
Oh, you become a gambler now?
Yeah, I'm a gambler.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see what else occurs to us, because we can do it. We can do it now since we're
Sure.
recording.
Sure.
I can always chop it up into different bits.
Sure. Again, not professional, just two old people sitting on a couch in their house discussing pickleball and our peeps in Simi. We got to go back to our peeps. We got to, get some individuals and start talking about individuals.
Lately, excuse me, did I interrupt you?
Always.
Continue.
No, it's all right.
Okay. I've seen stuff about how pickleball is making doctors busy. And online, I've seen this. And I also know, like, Steve Dunn has come back to pickleball after having serious issues. And to me, it's a quality of life that pickleball provides that, they don't take that into account when they do the numbers. So there's more injuries possibly, but there are people that are happy and participating and actually being more healthy. So, I don't like these numbers that they come up with saying keeping doctors busy. They're ignoring the benefits. So I wanted to say that.
Okay, so I've had one knee replacement since pickleball. I need another knee replacement. I got this 15 millimeter bulge disc, although that may have been from a fender bender. We don't know for sure, or just years of sports, or altogether. Who knows? But even with all that, I just can't wait to get back to pickleball. The social part of it's great. The physical part, I don't call it the hardest exercise, and maybe the pros do because it's a different game. I box, and that to me is a lot harder than, or spar. That's a lot harder than pickleball, but pickleball is just so much fun. And I will continue to play pickleball until, I look at Ruben Ruiz, I think you say that. Is that how you say his name? Just turned 80 years old. We went to his birthday party. God, this guy is fantastic. This guy moves on the court like a 60-year-old. I don't know, like a 50-year-old. And that gives me hope when I see that, that kind of activity out there on the court with the older people. So, some of the people we started out with, if I was in my 50s, they were in their 60s, now they're in their 70s. I don't see them as much. They're kind of slowing down a bit. But I imagine as the ages, the younger ages coming up will be able to play longer because they've been playing. And so I still won't watch pickleball because unless my friends out there, Kelly Mata, you become a pro, I will watch you. George Carter, you become a pro, I will watch you. Whoever, Kathy Isett, if you become a pro, I will watch you. Those are the people that I would watch. People that I know and I feel like I have a connection with. If I don't know someone, I just don't really, it's not interesting to me. But it's super interesting to Todd and a bunch of you guys.
So tournaments, Flo and I have a lot of experience with tournaments, and a lot of people that we play with have never played a tournament, don't care to, and that's great. I think some people are nervous. They don't want to let their partner down. Mm-hmm. Other people just don't care to compete like that, and that's fine. And actually, I have quit playing tournaments. I've tapered down for the last 2 years. I played a bunch, 5 dozen tournaments. Who knows?
For me, tournaments, in the very beginning, I honestly didn't understand. I didn't understand tournaments. I went with Todd to nationals. I don't even know how I got in. Todd was a 5-0. I was a 3-5. So we had to play 5-0, which I didn't know what that meant. And in my brain,
I didn't have much. I didn't know much more either.
In my brain, I thought, I'm such an athlete. I'm as good as anybody. And we got killed. And after the second, so that we played our first match, we lost in 2. So then our second game was only to 15. And I didn't understand. How come we're not playing 2 games? And Todd said, well, that's what happens when you lose your first match. So we lose our second match. And Todd's like, and we're in Arizona. And Todd, we took our RV, and Todd's like, okay, well, we're done. I'm like, we're done? What do you mean we're done? He goes, well, we lost our second match. We're out. I'm like, we're out? This is a stupid game. This is ridiculous. Plus, it was the second match we played, the players stacked. And I didn't know what stacking was. Most of you guys are going to know what stacking, you have a lefty and a righty. And I was like, they're in the wrong, what are they doing? They're in the wrong position. And Todd's like, no, they're stacking, whatever the hell that meant. So I've evolved. I understand tournaments. To give Todd credit, he played a lot with me when he was a 5-0. I brought him to a 4-5. I didn't bring him to 4-0 though, because when he was 4-5, I didn't really play with him. So somebody else brought him down to 4-0, not me. But as for tournaments, for me personally, I'm just going to say this. I like to get to the podium. I don't have to win the gold. And I know that drives some people crazy that are, you want to go out there and you think of only gold. No, sorry, I don't. You could think of only gold. I want to get to the podium. I want to get my $2 medal, whether it's bronze, silver, or gold. Gold is best, silver is next, then bronze. But I'm happy to get to the podium. And
so we're at Nationals 2015, and she is livid. She is so pissed because, first of all, the first team we played, the girl didn't hit hardly one ball. This was a big guy, and he was taking every ball, and we had never seen that.
Right.
Not in rec play or anywhere else. And then the same thing happened with the next, and Flo was livid. There was like steam coming out. So we're leaving, and I'm going, well, can I buy you like a memento? Like a sweatshirt? She goes, I don't want any effing sweatshirt.
But I said the whole word.
Yeah, exactly. She did.
I just wanted to go home and get out of.
I'm never playing again.
Yeah, that's
kind
what
of
I
stuff.
said.
Yeah. So.
But my last 4 tournaments I've medaled. One I didn't, and that was kind of we were the number 1 team until we went to the finals, and then we ended up number 4. So. But my last tournament, and I'm really happy and thankful I got to play in the police and fire championships, and I got the gold in the mixed and the gold in the women's doubles. And that was my 3rd year in a row of getting the gold in the mixed with 3 different partners. Shout out to Jude, my first partner, Colin, my second partner, and Dave Santillo. Jude, hope I say this right, Tantinko, Colin Smith, and Dave Santillo. Thanks, guys. And my partner, Kathy Schatz, retired Simi PD detective. She and I got a gold one year, and then last year she couldn't play, so I got a silver with the other gal that I play with, a blind date. And then this year, Kathy and I got the gold. So, really happy with that.
I'm tempted to talk about my history too, but I'm not sure anybody would be interested. So, my biggest win was at Nationals in 60 plus. I got a silver, and
we got your talking.
Yeah, I can just do one thing. My biggest win. So there's a ton where I was 2 and out. And
me too.
I don't want to talk about those.
Yeah, those are not good.
Yeah, we don't advertise.
No.
But I've got $10,000 worth of fake
medals,
But we used to take our motorhome and enjoy.
And I had a partner for a long time. I want to give a shout out to Scott. He's very low key. He doesn't even like his name out there, but Scott was my partner for the longest time. Loved him to pieces. Todd went down to 4-0, and because he's my life partner, we started playing together. And that's another whole thing. That's something could be difficult.
Yeah, playing with a spouse.
Yeah. But we're not married, so it makes it a little easier.
It does?
I think so.
No,
if we're married, then there's lots of paperwork. If we have to get divorced, we're not married, it's different.
But, what in my teaching days, what I've told couples is to make sure to tell your spouse what you want to hear when you miss a shot. You want to hear, good try, nothing, you're my best friend, whatever. And also what you want to hear when you make a good shot. And I think that helps. You and I never really have, we've talked quite a bit about attitude on the court and what to do. 'Cause when she rolls her eyes, it's tough. It's tough. And
who am I rolling my eyes at?
at yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what I've tried to explain.
Right. I know, but it's still,
you know,
it's still,
yeah.
I
get
have to deal
harder
with
on
it.
myself than,
yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah.
than I do on my partners.
Right.
I do.
So it's really hard when you're playing with somebody who's really down on themselves. Like I have another friend who's very negative.
Who's that?
Randy.
Oh.
He's very tough on himself, and that's hard. It's hard on the partner, especially since a lot of times I don't agree. You know, you play rarely, but you're playing good. I don't see why you're so upset. No. So playing with a spouse, not everybody can do it.
That is correct.
And, you know, hopefully you use it as a tool to bring you closer, to develop your communication skills, and to talk about your childhood. She hates when I say that.
Oh,
but I think a lot of
Todd's
it...
excuse for everything.
That's
is
not an
the
excuse.
childhood. I guess that's not an excuse, but everything, it goes back to your
A
childhood.
lot of it does.
Anytime I tell
But
them
you have
about
to think-
something that happens on the pickleball court with people, whatever their conflicts may be, must be their childhood.
Well,
Okay.
if you disagree, email Flo.
I don't check email, text me.
So, in fact, I should get a different email address so I could identify these
Sure.
if they happen.
So anyway, thanks for letting us ramble on. And if you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, let us know. We'd love to do it.
Well, there's always equipment, which neither of us are gearheads.
No.
There's medical issues, which everybody has,
Yep.
except for some of the young people that don't realize it's going to be an issue.
Right.
You know, sometimes when I teach a clinic, I've talked to people about a psychiatrist coming or a psychologist or a therapist coming to the clinic and talking about this stuff. Because I think it's a big part of it. Or having somebody like Amy, a physical therapist.
Amy, shout out to Amy. Oh, adorable, great player. One of the Chatsworth players that come over. Chatsworth player is Hector, Amy, Luis. I don't want to forget anyone.
Omar.
Omar told me I reminded him of his mother. That's cool though. Who are the other guys? Miguel, Warren's my boyfriend. It's okay. Todd's okay with it. Gail, Mrs. Warren, lovely Gail. She's okay with it. Stefano, good player, young guy.
Steve Maxim. He's the guy I met the other day.
Oh, okay. And who else? Chatsworth.
Well, there's a lot of people playing out there.
Yeah.
We just don't know them all. We've only played there, you know, sporadically every 6 months.
Yeah, I hate to forget any names because I love all you guys.
But if this podcast brings up interest, I would love to travel around and meet new people and tell their stories. So again, email me at tjmorepark@yahoo.com.
Yeah, remember, we're not the pros. We're just a Simi Valley couple that play pickleball and like to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I love to watch the podcast on TV, but I wonder how this will do in terms of popularity.
Well, we'll get at least 10 people to watch because I guarantee you my brother Paul will watch. My sister-in-law Kathleen will watch. Well, she may not.
All the paid
my
players
brother
will
Sal will watch. My partners Sue Smith, Dawn Rubin, Eileen will watch, possibly.
Yeah, and I still got to figure out how to format this stuff and how big of a bite to give everybody each time. Because now we've done an hour and a half. We've done an hour and a half.
So let's cut it into 3 or something.
We're going to break it up.
Yeah.
But what I worry about is timeliness.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to explain that to you.
He did tell you he has a degree in physics. I think you guys caught that. So he has to explain a lot of things to me. But I explained the law to him. So
this girl
even
is
out.
as smart as anybody. So the only things I have to explain to her are things she's not interested in. So I can put her to sleep talking about fiber optics. So we have very different tastes.
Yes, we do.
You want to kiss me now? All right.